Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Govardhan Bio-CNG plant in Indore, Madhya Pradesh this afternoon through video conferencing. Bio-CNG plants will help in making cities clean and pollution-free, and the government is building similar plants in the next 2 years in 75 big municipal corporations, says Prime Minister. Prime Minister flags off 100 Kisan drones in different cities and towns yesterday, says use of drones will prove to be a game-changer in many sectors in terms Kisan drone and new age revolution. India crosses landmark of administering 175 crore COVID vaccine doses under the world's largest vaccination drive. All preparations in place to hold the third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polling in Punjab tomorrow. In Tamil Nadu, polling for urban local bodies election is underway. Multiple initiatives undertaken to promote manufacturing and adoption of electric vehicles in the country, says government. Government distributes more than 23 crore soil health cards to farmers till date. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist killed by security forces in a gunfight at Shopian district this morning. 9th round of Foreign Office consultations between India and Armenia held in virtual format yesterday. And in cricket, India takes unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match T20 International Series by defeating West Indies by 8 runs at Kolkata last night. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and get fully vaccinated, and also help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, to get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said Bio-CNG plants will help in making cities clean and pollution-free, and the government is building similar plants in the next 2 years in 75 big municipal corporations. The Prime Minister said this after inaugurating Govardhan Bio-CNG plant in Indore, Madhya Pradesh this afternoon through video conferencing.
शहर में घरों से निकला गीला कचरा हो, गांव में पशुओं खेतों से मिला कचरा हो, ये सब एक तरह से गोबरधन ही है। शहर के कचरे और पशुधन से गोबरधन, फिर गोबरधन से स्वच्छ इंजन, फिर स्वच्छ ईंधन से ऊर्जा धन, ये श्रृंखला जीवन धन का निर्माण करती है.
He said lakhs of tons of garbage has occupied thousands of acres of land. It causes air and water pollution. He added, in the second phase of the Swachh Bharat mission, work is being done to deal with this problem.
ये अभियान भारत के शहरों को स्वच्छ बनाने, प्रदूषण रहित बनाने, क्लीन एनर्जी की दिशा में बहुत मदद करेगा. और अब तो शहरों में ही नहीं, बल्कि देश के गांवों में भी हजारों की संख्या में गोबरधन बायोगैस प्लांट लगाए जा रहे हैं. इनसे हमारे पशुपालकों को गोबर से भी अतिरिक्त आय मिलनी शुरू हुई है.
Mr. Modi said as soon as the name of Indore comes, the name of Devi Ahilyabai Holkar comes first. Today, after taking the name of Indore also, the attention towards cleanliness comes to mind. Congratulating the citizens of Indore for the bioplant with wet waste today, Mr. Modi said Indore has achieved this position because of civic duty sense and hard work of the state government. Earlier, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that Bio-CNG plant of 550 metric ton per day capacity has been set up with the objective of realizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's concept of waste to wealth and innovation in the field of sanitation.
हमने दुनिया का सबसे बड़ी शहरी स्वच्छता क्रांति की शुरुआत की है. जिसमें 130 करोड़ नागरिकों को इस जन आंदोलन में सहभागी बनाया है। स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के अंतर्गत इस समय 73,32,000 शौचालय शहरों में निर्माण किए गए हैं। 35 राज्य यूनियन टेरिटरीज ODF हो गए हैं।
Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has said that Madhya Pradesh is trying to fully implement the mantra of waste to wealth of Prime Minister. Example of this is Govardhan Bio-CNG plant of Indore. The Prime Minister had recently launched the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 with the overall vision of creating garbage-free cities. The plant at Indore has a capacity to treat 550 tons per day of segregated wet organic waste. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the use of drones will prove to be a game changer in many sectors, terming Kisan drone as a new age revolution. The Prime Minister flagged off 100 Kisan drones in different cities and towns yesterday. Virtually addressing the farmers at Manesar, Mr. Modi said this special drive is aimed at helping farmers by giving their produce easy access to the markets. He said this will also increase the income of farmers. He said this is a new chapter in the direction of modern agricultural facilities of the 21st century. He expressed confidence that this beginning will not only prove to be a milestone in the development of the drone sector, but will also open the sky to unlimited possibilities. Highlighting the importance of drones in various fields, the Prime Minister said priority has been given to technology in several policy decisions and in this year's budget. He said at present drones are being used in many different areas, including mapping of land, supply of medicines and vaccines, and spraying of pesticides in the farms. Talking about the opportunities in the drone sector, Mr. Modi said several reforms have taken place in the country to give opportunities to youth and strengthen the private sector.
More than 175 crore 3 lakh doses of COVID vaccine have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive so far. Tweeting about this, Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said that world's largest vaccination drive is touching new heights and accomplishing new feats every day. The Union Health Ministry said more than 36,28,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said a total of 22,270 new cases were reported during the same period. India's active caseload currently stands at over 2,53,000. The recovery rate is currently at 98.21%. The Health Minister today said media reports claiming LIC IPO data confirming massive death numbers in 2021 are speculative and not factual. It termed the media reports as a flawed interpretation, saying it reveals lack of understanding of how COVID deaths in India are collated and published daily in public domain since the beginning of pandemic.
In Uttar Pradesh, the Election Commission is making all arrangements for the third phase of elections on 59 seats tomorrow. Polling parties will be dispatched to their respective polling centres today. In the wake of the COVID pandemic, all necessary arrangements are being made for free and fair polling. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
59 assembly seats are going to poll in third phase and they are spread over 16 districts of central UP and Bundelkhand. The political fate of many bigwigs will be decided in this phase of elections. All eyes are on Karhal seat of Mainpuri, from where Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav is contesting first time for assembly elections. Union Minister SP Singh Baghel is challenging him on this seat from BJP, which is part of Mainpuri parliamentary seat represented by Mulayam Singh Yadav in Lok Sabha. Many other VIP candidates are also in fray, which includes ministers in Yogi government, Ram Naresh Agnihotri and Satish Mahana, Samajwadi Party candidate from Jaswant Nagar seat of Itawa, and uncle of Akhilesh Yadav, Shivpal Singh Yadav. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In view of assembly polls, the Punjab government has declared a paid holiday for employees working in shops and commercial establishments and for workers in factories situated in Punjab on February the 20th. An official spokesperson said the Department of Personnel has issued 2 notifications in this regard. In Tamil Nadu, polling for the urban local bodies is now underway. The polling began at 7 a.m. in over 30,700 booths, which will get over by 6 p.m. The voters are set to elect the ward councillors for the civic bodies in today's elections. 218 others have already been elected unopposed. 21 municipal corporations, 138 municipalities and 489 town panchayats go to polls today in a single phase. The counting of votes will be held on the 22nd of this month. Our correspondent says the results for most of the wards are expected to be declared the same day, as electronic voting machines are being used in all the booths.
More than 57,700 candidates are trying their public acceptance in the elections for the 12,601 wards that are up for grabs. 2.83 crore voters only are eligible to cast their votes today, as others have already exercised their franchise in the recently concluded rural local body polls. There are incidents of people coming by even ambulances to cast their votes. The last 1 hour is dedicated exclusively for COVID patients to vote. The stakes involved in today's urban civic bodies elections are high, as nearly half the areas in the state fall under them. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, held a virtual summit last evening. Both leaders expressed deep satisfaction at the continuous growth in bilateral relations in all sectors. Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince issued a joint vision statement advancing the India and the UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, New Frontiers, New Milestone. The statement establishes a roadmap for a future-oriented partnership between India and UAE and identifies focus areas and outcomes. The shared objective is to promote new trade, investment and innovation dynamic in diverse sectors, including economy, energy, climate action, emerging technologies, skills and education, food security, healthcare and defense and security. A major highlight of the virtual summit was the signing and exchange of the India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA. The agreement will provide significant benefits to Indian and UAE businesses, including enhanced market access and reduced tariffs. During the summit, 2 MOUs were signed between Indian and UAE entities were also announced. The Prime Minister thanked the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi for taking care of the Indian community during the COVID pandemic. He also invited him to pay an early visit to India. In his opening remarks at the India-UAE Virtual Summit, Prime Minister Modi said the summit reflects that the friendly relationship between the two countries is continuously reaching a new height despite various challenges.
The National Investigation Agency has arrested IPS officer Arvind Digvijay Negi in connection with its probe into Lashkar-e-Taiba overground workers network. The accused was earlier working with the NIA and is currently posted as Superintendent of Police in Shimla. In a statement, NIA said the case, which was registered in November last year, pertains to the spread of widespread network of overground workers of LET, a proscribed terrorist organization, for providing support in planning and execution of terrorist activities in India. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist was killed by security forces in a gunfight at Chermarg village in Zainapura area of South Kashmir's Shopian district this morning. The identity of the slain terrorist is being ascertained.
The Power Ministry has said that the government has undertaken multiple initiatives to promote the manufacturing and adoption of electric vehicles in the country. It said the efforts by government has led to 2.5 times increase in charging stations in 9 megacities in last 4 months. The ministry said with the considerable expansion in the public electric vehicles charging infrastructure, the electric vehicles have started penetrating the Indian market. This has also exhibited greater confidence among the consumers to shift towards electric mobility.
More than 23 crore soil health cards have been distributed to farmers till date. Soil health cards provide information to farmers on nutrient status of their soil, along with recommendation on appropriate dosage of nutrients to be applied for improving soil health and its fertility. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The Soil Health Card scheme has completed 7 years today. The scheme is aimed at issuing soil health cards to farmers every 2 years to provide a basis to address nutritional deficiencies in soil. The card contains an advisory based on the soil nutrient status of a farmer's holding. It also shows the recommendations on dosage of different nutrients needed. The scheme ensures additional income to farmers by increase in yields, and it also promotes sustainable farming. More than 11,500 new soil testing laboratories have been made functional across the country. The soil analysis capacity has also increased from 1 crore 78 lakh to 3 crore 33 lakh samples per year. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Govardhan Bio-CNG plant in Indore, Madhya Pradesh this afternoon through video conferencing. Bio-CNG plants will help in making cities clean and pollution-free, and the government is building similar plants in the next 2 years in 75 big municipal corporations, says Prime Minister. Prime Minister flags off 100 Kisan drones in different cities and towns yesterday, says use of drones will prove to be a game changer in many sectors, and terms Kisan drone a new age revolution. India crosses landmark of administering 175 crore vaccine doses under world's largest vaccination drive. All preparations in place to hold third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polling in Punjab tomorrow. In Tamil Nadu, polling for urban local bodies election is underway. Multiple initiatives undertaken to promote manufacturing and adoption of electric vehicles in the country, says government. Government distributes more than 23 crore soil health cards to farmers till date. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist killed by security forces in a gunfight at Shopian district this morning. 9th round of Foreign Office consultations between India and Armenia held in virtual format yesterday. And in cricket, India takes unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match T20 International Series, defeating West Indies by 8 runs at Kolkata last night. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
Today, we remember the eminent nationalist leader, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who died on the 19th of February, 1915. Born on the 9th of May, 1866 in Maharashtra, Gokhale graduated from Elphinstone College in 1884. In addition to learning English, he was exposed to Western political thought and became a great admirer of theorists such as John Stuart Mill and Edmund Burke. Gokhale was deeply influenced by the social works of Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade.
At the age of 22, Gokhale became secretary of the leading political organization, Sarvajanik Sabha. At the age of 29, Gokhale was chosen to be the secretary in the Indian National Congress. In the same year, he was elected to the Senate of Bombay University. Gokhale was also a member of the Pune municipality and served as its president. Under his leadership, the municipal government was effectively reformed and democratized.
In 1899, he was elected to the Bombay Legislative Council and played a prominent role until his election to the Imperial Legislative Council in 1902. In the Imperial Legislative Council, his command over subjects marked him as the most distinguished member of the council. The year 1905 saw Gokhale at the apex of his political career.
He was elected president of the Indian National Congress and he founded the Servants of India Society, which was dedicated to the advancement of the nation's welfare. He was also sent by the Congress on a special mission to England to promote India's constitutional demands before the British government. While in England, Gokhale had several important interviews with the Secretary of State for India, John Morley.
In 1912, when Gokhale visited South Africa, he met Gandhiji, where he was fighting for fair rights of indentured labourers. When Gandhiji returned to India in 1915, it was Gokhale who mentored him. Gokhale helped Gandhiji acquire knowledge and understanding of the issues confronting common Indians. The great leader Gopal Krishna Gokhale died on the 19th of February 1915, leaving a void in the lives of his admirers. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember Gandhian thinker and activist Dharampal, who was born on the 19th of February 1922 in Muzaffarnagar. From his childhood, Dharampal was deeply inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Responding to Gandhiji's call for individual satyagraha in 1940, he joined the freedom struggle. In 1942, he left his graduation and became actively involved in the Quit India movement. He also worked with Gandhiji's disciple Mirabai.
In 1947, at the time of partition, he was put in charge of the Congress Socialist Party's Centre for the Rehabilitation of Migrants coming from Pakistan and came in close contact with Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. He was also founding member of the Indian Cooperative Union in 1948.
From 1966, Dharampal devoted himself to an exploration of the Indian archives spread over the British Isles. In this period, he published several books on the nature and functioning of pre-British Indian society. Some of his seminal works include Civil Disobedience and Indian Tradition and The Beautiful Tree, Indigenous Indian Education in the 18th Century.
His research has revolutionized the understanding of Indian culture, scientific and technological achievements on the eve of the British conquest. Collections of his writings have been published by the Publications Division of the Government of India. Dharampal was closely associated with Gandhiji's Sevagram Ashram at Wardha, which he considered his main abode until he passed away there on the 24th of October 2006. AIR News pays tribute to the noble soul.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Union Minister Anurag Thakur today accused Samajwadi Party of having links with a 2008 Ahmedabad blast case convict. Addressing a press conference in Delhi, Mr. Thakur asked SP leader Akhilesh Yadav to break his silence on the matter. He said BJP has zero tolerance towards terrorism. BJP had earlier welcomed the judgment of a special designated court which awarded death penalty to 38 convicts in 2008 Ahmedabad serial bomb blast case.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today paid tributes to legendary Maratha warrior king Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, known for his undaunted courage and exceptional warfare strategies, Shivaji Maharaj was a ruler ahead of his time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also greeted the nation on the occasion. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's outstanding leadership and emphasis on social welfare has been inspiring people for generations. Today is the 167th birth anniversary of Tamil scholar U.V. Swaminathan Iyer. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have paid tributes to the renowned scholar. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said that his invaluable contribution to Tamil literature continues to enlighten many. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in a tweet said, U.V. Swaminathan Iyer is admired for his contributions to the Tamil culture and language.
Uttamadanapuram Venkata Subramanian Swaminathan, who is affectionately called as Tamil Tata, meaning Tamil grandfather, was born on 19 February 1855 in the village of Suriyamulai near Kumbakonam in present-day Tamil Nadu. He was a Tamil scholar and researcher who was instrumental in bringing many long-forgotten works of classical Tamil literature to light. Because of his efforts, a large number of literary works which were gathering dust as palm leaf manuscripts in lofts, storerooms, boxes and cupboards saw the light of the day and got published. Of them, the Chilapadigaram, Manimegalai and Purananuru were received by Tamil lovers with a lot of enthusiasm. In a span of about 5 decades, Uvesa published over 90 books on a variety of matters connected to classical Tamil literature and collected over 3,000 paper manuscripts, palm leaf manuscripts and notes of various kinds. Ravi Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has expressed pain at the untimely demise of journalist Ravish Tiwari. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also expressed grief over the demise of noted journalist. In a tweet, he said, a bright career in the media world comes to an end.
The 9th round of Foreign Office consultations between India and Armenia was held in virtual format yesterday. The Indian side was led by Secretary West of the Ministry of External Affairs Vinod Sandhu, and the Armenian side was led by Armenia's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Manatsakan Safaryan. During the consultations, both sides had comprehensive discussions on bilateral cooperation in diverse areas including political and economic, commercial, defence, development partnership, capacity building, consular matters and cultural cooperation. They also reviewed the implementation of decisions taken during the visit of External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to Armenia in October last year.
In cricket, India took 2-0 unassailable lead in the 3-match T20 International Series by defeating West Indies by 8 runs at Kolkata last night. Chasing a victory target of 187 runs, West Indies were restricted to 178 for 3 in stipulated 20 overs. Earlier, the hosts scored 186 for 5 in 20 overs. Rishabh Pant was adjudged the player of the match. The last match of the T20 series will be played tomorrow at the Eden Gardens. West Indies have already lost the preceding ODI series 0-3. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur today said the International Olympic Committee session is coming to India in 2023. In a tweet, the minister termed it as historic and added that Indian sport has made giant strides in recent years.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have strong surface winds during the daytime. Temperature will vary between 11 and 27 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Minimum temperature will be 19 degrees while maximum is expected to be around 30 degrees. Chennai will have fog or mist in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Temperature will vary between 23 and 31 degrees. Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 17 degrees, maximum around 28. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between -1 and 12 degrees Celsius. Jammu mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night. Minimum temperature will be 8 degrees, maximum around 24. Leh will have a generally cloudy sky. Minimum and maximum temperature will hover between -10 and 3 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Govardhan Bio-CNG plant in Indore, Madhya Pradesh this afternoon through video conferencing. Bio-CNG plants will help make cities clean and pollution-free, and the government is building similar plants in next 2 years in 75 big municipal corporation, says Prime Minister. Prime Minister flags off 100 Kisan drones in different cities and towns yesterday, says use of drones will prove to be a game changer in many sectors and turns Kisan drone a new age revolution. India crosses landmark of administering 175 crore COVID vaccine doses under the world's largest vaccination drive. All preparations in place to hold third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single phase polling in Punjab tomorrow. In Tamil Nadu, polling for urban local body elections is underway. Multiple initiatives undertaken to promote manufacturing and adoption of electric vehicles in the country, says government. Government distributes more than 23 crore soil health cards to farmers till date. In Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist was killed by security forces in a gunfight at Shopia district this morning. 9th round of Foreign Office consultations between India and Armenia held in virtual format yesterday. And in cricket, India takes unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match T20 international series by defeating West Indies by 8 runs at Kolkata last night. And with that, we end the midday news.